Hello.
Hello, how are
I'm
you?
doing just wonderful. How are you doing today?
I'm doing so well. Thank you very much for having me. I hope that I'm audible and that everyone can see me. Thank you once again for your time.
Absolutely. It is such a pleasure being able to meet you today and of course having this conversation here together. There's just so much I'm so excited to just dive into for today. And before we really get started, can you just tell us a little bit more about yourself outside of the crown?
Of course, of course. Hello, everyone. My name is Zoalize Jansen van Rensburg. I am an entrepreneur, I'm a philanthropist, and I'm a law student. I am the founder of a charity foundation called Never Too Young to Advocate, which is focused on youth development, more specifically, youth development in areas of South Africa, which focus on orphaned and vulnerable children. So I work with a lot of orphan.
Oop, I think there might have been a little error on my end. See if we can get Zoali showing up on the live. I'm not sure if it's just showing up on my end or if it's showing up on the other end as well.
Okay, I hope I'm back. I have no
Fabulous.
idea what happened over there. But let me pick up where I left off. So I work with a lot of orphan children across my country, and we have been able to go into the facilities and instill a sense of safety and security within their lives. And through the help of our brand partners, we've been able to run our foundation for over 4 years, almost 5 years now. And apart from managing my foundation, you will find me indulging in any form of creativity, whether it be writing, painting, sculpting, anything of the sort. It is just an outlet for me to release my emotions and just to take some time off. So that's a little bit about me. And did I even mention I come from South Africa?
Well, that's always a fabulous fact to know for sure because you are representing such a beautifully diverse country with such a rich history, and there's going to be so much I cannot wait to just dive into for today. But before we get a little bit more into pageants, is there something about your personality or daily routine that might surprise most people?
Yes, I love that you asked that first. Definitely, I think a lot of the times people might miss the mark that I am quite a quiet individual. And the reason that I say that is because I'm a very good observer. I am a listener, and I think those are the people that always give the best words of advice and wisdom. So that might be a fact that some people might not know about me. And just to add a little bit more onto that, I'm very much into sculpting. I love pottery. It's always been a hobby of mine ever since I was a young girl. So any small breakages in the house is my responsibility to fix. So that's just a little fun fact.
That is fantastic, and I think it's wonderful as well that you really highlight that you are a great listener because I fully agree that when you listen, you really understand others much better, so you can just be able to be a better helping hand for them, just be that person that they can depend on. And of
Absolutely.
course, when it comes to being Miss World South Africa, your schedule just seems insanely packed. What's a typical day in your life, or is there even a typical day?
Uh, that is quite the keyword over there. Typical is something that is quite out of the ordinary nowadays for me. I think every day varies. I'm someone that likes to be proactive. I am a person that really values time. So I don't like to necessarily, you know, so to say, waste time. I like to do my days jam-packed from start to finish. I like to be as productive as possible. So a day to day for me would be definitely in this current stage, preparing for the 72nd Miss World Festival in all aspects, ensuring that everything is in order and set up for me to represent my country. I'm sure that all the logistics of my family are sorted out, that they will be there cheering me on. Having that support system there with me means a lot to me. And I'm currently busy with my studies. So, in between the reality of being Miss World South Africa, I am also a full time student. So, I study digitally, and for now, that has been the best way to keep up with my studies while living a very busy lifestyle. But I always say that the life I'm currently living is something I'm so privileged to live, and to have that busy schedule really does stimulate my mind. So there's so many things that I didn't even touch on that happens on a day to day, but we live a very quick paced life, so you have to be very adaptable. And that's one quality that I've been able to enhance and nurture during my time as the reigning Miss World South Africa. So days to days, they really vary. They really vary.
Absolutely, and I'm sure many queens can relate that our days can be quite unpredictable, but it's always exciting to just be able to embrace every day with whatever the unexpected may be. And I am so excited that
Yes.
you're going to be having family come as well for your competition because they are such a strong support circle no matter where you are and what stage you are in your life. And of course, I would just love to know as well what initially inspired you to enter pageantry.
This is always such a beautiful story to tell because I entered this industry with the thought of doing modeling. I think many have the same dream and aspiration of, walking on the runway, showcasing the beautiful designs of designers, and that was my initial thought. One of my very good friends who I went to school with when I was still in physical school did modeling and pageantry all at once, and her mom really encouraged me to go into the field, and she always prided me in how successful I would be within the industry. And I never once thought to myself that it would end up how it did. But that day I went home back to my mom and I was like, Mom, you know, this friend of mine, she's been in this industry, and every time I go to her house, I see all the beautiful, gowns and certificates and all her accolades. And it really inspired me to want to be part of this industry. And my mom, she wasn't against it at all, but all she said was, Zoe, when I sit next to this stage or ramp, I will be there cheering you on, but please ensure that you showcase the best version of yourself. That's always what she wanted for me within this industry, is to be authentically me. So I really asked and begged to go to my first, grooming school where they helped us with ramp training and public speaking skills, and she officially agreed. And the first time I did, runway modeling, it was so much fun, and I really had a great time. But I came to a stage within my life that I felt that it wasn't really serving me in the way that I wanted it to. I'm someone that always likes to do things with intention and to feel sustained from something. And at that time frame within my life, modeling was not really just doing that for me. So I explored my options, and I took some time off from this whole industry. And when I was around about 17 years old, I found the beautiful system of Miss World. And when I looked at my own personal life and I saw their principles and morals, I saw how closely that aligned with one another. Because I've been practicing the work and role of a humanitarian ever since I was a young little girl. So when I saw that that was the core of the system and that was the core of their purpose, I knew that it's a system I wanted to be part of. And from that day on out, it was genuinely history. I took a leap of faith. I entered wanting to represent the beauty of my purpose, the beauty of my community, and my vision with the world. And I was able to do that. And it's something I'm incredibly grateful for and wouldn't trade any of my experiences for the world.
Every experience definitely is unique, which is why I love to hear how everyone has initially started pageantry. It's even funnier when we don't initially intended to join either. And for you to have the progress, the journey that you've had so far is also just something worth praising. Because please
Oh,
correct me if I'm wrong, I believe in 2023 you were initially first runner-up to the Miss World South Africa crown. What
yes.
made you decide to come back right after, especially knowing just how mentally and emotionally taxing it can be to compete?
Mhm. No, absolutely true. I mean, in 2023, I competed, and that was one of the moments in my life that I can really say my eyes opened. I mean, competing so young, it's just your mindset is in a completely different place. And I look back at that version of myself now and I think, wow, I can't even, really see myself in those shoes anymore just because of how much the system has transformed me in the most progressive way. Um, and it is mentally taxing, as you mentioned, but what really inspired me to come back was that fuel and passion within me to, contribute to the beauty of our humanity. I'm very big on that, helping contribute to the legacy that we want to leave behind. I all believe that we have a unique purpose within us all, and I have always had this wonderful ability to connect with people and connect communities. And with the power of the Miss World platform, I knew that I was able to do that on a greater scale. So, with that being said, when the entries opened for the second time around, there was a voice inside of my heart that said, Zoe, go back. Go back. And, I was on the fence, I was thinking about it, but I knew that I was called on that path for a reason. So I went to go sit with my family in the lounge and I asked them, or not even asked, I rather so told. I said, we're going to do it for a second time around. And I, just took another leap of faith and I went in with such a content heart because whatever happened would have happened because I wouldn't have looked back on my life with any regrets. That's always what I say. I don't want to look back on any situation thinking, oh, I should have entered a second time around or I should have listened to that voice inside of me. So I did take a leap of faith and, at the end of the day, I do believe I represented a completely different version of myself. And it showed a lot of determination within me and it taught me so much courage because there were so many moments within that journey where I felt like I doubted myself or I was comparing the 2023 version to the 2024 version and battling with that comparison was very tough. So I just went with content hard during the finals week and I knew that whatever was meant for me would not pass. And I think it is so to say that this road was carved out for a reason and I'm following my destiny with a confident heart and that's all that matters. So it was a very eye-opening experience and reflecting on it now, I'm very grateful that I did take that leap of faith.
I completely agree that what is meant for you will always come and find its way to you, whether we expect it to or not. And sometimes when we don't get what we initially were aiming for the first time around, it's really a great lesson for us to grow and
Yes,
improve and just dig a little bit deeper on just who we are as a person and how we could be a better version to fulfill this opportunity. Now,
so
coming
true.
back the second time around, what do you say you maybe have done differently, if anything, of what at all? Because of course sometimes it's just a different day, different results for us, but anything from your training or wardrobe even, did you change for your second time competing for Miss World South Africa?
Well, I think change is really a perception. In my eyes, I think the one thing that I really did differently was to be authentically myself. When I competed as a 17-year-old, there were so many, you know, how would I say, there were so many negative and positive responses from the public, and a lot of the times I consumed myself in it. I thought, what are the people saying? What should I do to represent myself better? And I really did take that to heart, which I think was important for me to do because I learned a lot from that. But in the same breath, I went there a second time around knowing that everyone already knew my story. They knew who I was, what I advocated for. So I went there with a true, authentic heart, showing them that I've grown, I've developed, I've become a better leader, I've become a more passionate humanitarian, and I'm invested within my community. I think that's one thing that I've demonstrated is that I'm invested in igniting purpose within each and every single individual in the world. And I think that's what truly shined through above and beyond everything is my commitment to this journey and my commitment to the betterment of this world. So to answer you, I believe that that is what truly stood out and that's what I did differently. I went there with an authentic heart. I showcased my vision for the world and I hope that I changed many people's perspective on what it means to go after a dream because it comes in many different ways and a lot of the time the path that you follow is not the one you expect it to, but the outcome might be the same. And it's important to hold on to that vision because when you lose sight of it too quickly, you might, lose grip of it completely. So keep in touch with your dream and never give up on what you believe in.
I agree with that completely, and especially just making sure that you do come back being your most authentic form. We both definitely relate in that sense where we felt that we have to maybe change ourselves to feel more accepted by the public because there are just so many criticisms that we do hear throughout our journey to achieve really anything that you are chasing after. So I
Yes.
do really appreciate that you do highlight that you want to be authentic
Mhm.
throughout the journey.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Is there anything that you felt helped kept you grounded throughout this time? Since there were moments where we may have felt discouraged since
Yes.
2023 until now.
Very much so, and I must say that it's been my family. They have been my core pillar of strength since the beginning. Ever since, they know me better than anyone else. I grew up with them. They were there to support me in moments of doubt. They were there to support me when we celebrated, and they were really that pillar of strength when I've faced challenges. And the reason I say that thing, I think, goes much more deep than what many may think. But when you compete for such a long time, and it's really rigorous segments of competition, and you are there by yourself, you have the confidence within you, you have the courage to compete, but you reach a stage mentally where you struggle to draw strength within yourself. So you need to have those people that you can resort to say, guys, I need comfort, I need words of I need words that can affirm me of my position and that can, uplift me. So that was really my family during that time, because you really reach a mental state where you feel so exhausted and overwhelmed, you don't even know how to deal with your own emotions. So to have people that really know you through and through to help sort out, what you might not be able to digest internally, they're able to present that and give you the strength to move forward. And that's really what my family provided for me during that time. And that's what kept me grounded during it all. There were moments that I called them up and I was like, oh my gosh, I need advice. What do we wear today? What was the plan? Because you don't want to let your energy be dedicated to things that can come so effortlessly. And when you are in such a when you are in an environment that is so overstimulating and a lot of the times overwhelming, you don't want to be worrying about small things.
Absolutely. Family does help keep us grounded at the end of the day. They're one of the best support group social circles that you could ever ask for. So I love that they've
Yes.
really been able to again just help you throughout your journey, your growth, and just making sure that you are really having a fulfilled experience no matter what there. Now, what would you have to say has been your most memorable moment since you became Miss South Africa World?
One of the most memorable moments. Oh, there are so many that I can't even just think of one. But I must say, something that I constantly think about is the outreach project that I do. I go to an orphanage in my hometown called New Jerusalem's Children's Home, which I go to very often. They are my weekly visit. They make me so excited. When I jump in my car and I head over, I'm always in such a good mood because when I see the children running, and they tug on my clothes and they're just so excited to see me. My smile goes from ear to ear because I'm just as excited to see them. So those moments are the things that will never ever leave my memory. I think they're really engraved in my mind because I look at them, I see the inspiration in their eyes and I see the smiles on their faces, and that really reminds me of the person that I strive to be. Because when we are in this fast-paced environment and we live, our day-to-day lives, we forget really to where we're going to. We forget the point that we want to achieve. So when I go to the children and I'm looking at them, I'm reaffirmed of the person I set myself out to be, and the person I strive to be. So although there are many moments that are memorable, I must say that is one that goes above and beyond everything. But one moment that I think is incredibly special, and many of the people that have been watching my journey would know for a very long time, is that I had the opportunity to speak at the United Nations last year in October about combating SDG number 2. And it's always been a dream of mine to either work or be associated with the UN. So to do that during my reign was a moment I couldn't even think was real, and I got the call. So those are definitely the moments that will remain in my memory for as long as I hopefully can remember. And they really touch my heart each and every time I experience it or think of them.
I love that you had that opportunity, and that's just one of my favorite things when it comes to pageantry, that it does open the door for so many opportunities and dreams to become fulfilled that we may have not quite have the resources or knowledge prior to do so. Can you tell us a little bit
Yes.
more about your opportunity to speak at the UN?
Yes. Absolutely. So my wonderful director, you know, is always so involved in everything. And I saw, the promotion of it, and I asked, Miss Carol, one day I really, really want to have involvement or just be present at a summit or event like this, because she had prior involvement with UN Women. And when she came back to me to say, Zoe, you will be a panelist at this event, I think I actually almost fainted because it's always been a dream of mine ever since I was a young girl, to represent my country in one form or another, whether it be through diplomacy, whether it be through the world of modeling or this industry. I always knew that that was a passion, and to have done that, through Miss World South Africa was something I couldn't have even imagined would have happened. So when I had the opportunity to sit next to diplomats from all across the world and to understand that I have all these ears listening, I wanted to use that as the opportunity for me to really speak upon my visions for this world, to really speak upon, where I want our world to move in progressively, how I want the youth to become more hands-on and more involved in combating the 17 SDGs in alignment with the 2030 agenda. So having that platform to speak upon the issues that are pressing within our young people was, one I really didn't take for granted, because I knew that this was the one opportunity that I might not even get again. So I wanted to grasp onto that, speak upon my passions. And, when I was done and I left the convention center, I felt so empowered through hearing the support and positive feedback of the people. And, that was enough motivation for me to continue working as hard as I possibly can to ensure we have a world that is inclusive and that takes our, young people's opinions into consideration.
I absolutely love that you've had that opportunity. And of course, when it comes to Miss World, you really are going to be an ambassador, speaker for so many diverse topics throughout the year, as you're already experiencing now. And just talking a little bit more about your Beauty with a Purpose project, Never Too Young to Advocate. What inspired you to start it?
Yes. So, my Beauty with a Purpose project, as you mentioned, is known as Never Too Young to Advocate, and it's a platform that focuses on creating a safe space for young children to have global audibility and visibility. And the main inspiration behind that was to give children a safe space to really, firstly, share their visions and opinions of the world and about the world with the rest of their young individuals, but also to create that comfortability to speak. I think one thing that we really need now is the freedom of speech and using the power of your voice to, progress the world. Because at the end of the day, the young generation are the leaders of tomorrow. So when we build upon the society that we want to live in and that we want to see, it is important for us to have that confidence to lead and have the confidence to share our thoughts and ideas. Because I've always believed in the power of collaboration, and when we are able to take hands and move forward in unity, the world becomes a brighter place. And for me, that was the core inspiration behind it all, because of how much I experienced that in South Africa, or rather so had the lack of that experience in my country, because we come from a conservative place. Our families didn't always allow for young people to just say what they wanted to. You were really still the child and you still had to learn. And I agree, wisdom always does come with time, but it's important to lead and guide young people. I feel that there's a lack of young leadership today, and I wanted to take up that responsibility of looking at my young communities and young generations, which I form a part of, and to utilize that power to really unite us. And with that being said, develop our characters and develop our mindset to ensure that we have that ability to become community leaders, to invest in, the coming generations, and to build upon a legacy that is inspirational for people to look at, and to have them understand that irrespective of, your age, where you come from, any of those things, that it doesn't count against you. It is simply a matter of mindset. And when you have that power of self-belief within you, you can truly achieve anything. So I'm grateful that that was, a personal experience that I could turn into something positive, and throughout the years of its expansion, be able to take it into various other sectors of my country.
I completely admire that you're trying to be really an ambassador as well for youth, so that they also have the opportunity to be seen and to be heard. Because I also come from a background where it's also a little conservative as well, and it's expected of the children to remain as children and not quite be outspoken. So I really do admire the work that you do there.
Thank you.
What does it mean for you to be seen and heard when you're young, especially when you're in a room where you didn't expect to speak at all?
I think I won't even lie, there comes a lot of, fear, and there is a sense of overwhelmingness because now you finally have this podium and opportunity to speak, but you've never fully had that experience before. But that's where I tap into the mindset aspect of things to draw strength within my empowered mindset to understand that this is my one and only opportunity. And if I don't take it right now, it might not come again. So when I am met with those interactions and spaces, I'm reminded that this has been placed in front of me, not just coincidentally. People are there to genuinely listen to what I have to say. They are there to listen to my vision, and now is the time to share what I have for the world. So when I'm faced with those moments of doubt and uncertainty, and when I feel a little bit overwhelmed, I'm always reminded that I'm here to set out an example and to be an ambassador and role model for my people, to prove to them that yes, there might reside a sense of fearlessness within you, but you need to be reminded that when you have that opportunity, hold on to it and run with it as confidently as you can, because now is your time to share your voice and utilize the power of it. And that can really extend so much further beyond the room that you're in or the room that you speak in. It can really touch the world. And I've been able to see that through the beautiful system of Miss World. So that's what I would respond to that.
I completely agree with you, and I love how you've really just eloquated it all as well.
Thank
And
you.
in case anyone here who just doesn't know quite yet, you being 19 years old, you are going to be stepping on the Miss World stage as one of the youngest contestants. What weight does that carry for you personally?
It carries a lot of responsibility and a lot of, yeah, I would say responsibility is the correct word because it's not a burden. It's not something that worries me or makes me feel stressed or overwhelmed. It is a responsibility that is a complete privilege because I have been trusted to represent my country at such a young age. We come from such a diverse demographic. We have so many different cultures and traditions, and I am a representative of all of that. So to be this young and to have the faith and trust of my people instilled within me is a privilege I can't even begin to describe. So when I am in moments of doubt, I look back at my nation, South Africa, and I feel empowered. I feel motivated to, gather up all the strength I possibly can and to continue to demonstrate and fight what we have been representing for many, many years. We have fought for our democracy. We have really fought to move forward in unity. And when I'm able to look back at those things and draw strength within our former South African representatives' accolades, I look at myself and I see how much my people are there backing me. So that's how I look at it, because at the end of the day, they're not representing myself, I'm representing South Africa and ultimately becoming an international ambassador, representing global communities, and having the ability to connect with people is something that I believe would be an asset to, not only my time as Miss World South Africa, but hopefully a wonderful aspect I can bring to the Miss World system. So with that being said, I look at it in a positive aspect.
Absolutely, you radiate positivity here. Now,
Thank you.
you're so welcome. I would love to know what has been the hardest and the most rewarding parts when it comes to preparing for Miss World.
I must say the most difficult thing has been always wanting to peak my own peak. I'm someone that always believes that, well, not even believes, I practice the saying that I want to be better than I was the day before. And with that comes a lot of reflection. It comes with a lot of self-development and growth. And as much as those aspects seem so positive, it can come with a lot of negativity at times because I look at myself and I say, no, so you could have done better or you should have done better. And having that expectation from yourself constantly can become a little bit overwhelming. So I've come to understand that perfection isn't a reality. It unfortunately does not exist. So when I embrace the imperfections and I embrace the mistakes and understand that they have come upon my path for a reason to teach me a lesson, I'm able to take those lessons and apply them, to that certain situation to be better. So I look at it from that perspective. So the most rewarding aspect would be to see that I am developing. Um, I was a child that always focused on ensuring that, I'm the best version of myself in everything. I always wanted to be, the best version of Zoalize. My mom always, like I said, my mom always taught me, Zoe, when you go out there, be confident and just ensure you showcase the best version of yourself so that you are proud of your achievements. So to see that development and growth being applied during this time and actually witnessing that firsthand through reflecting on, some of my achievements is something that is incredibly rewarding. So in that aspect, it balances itself out very nicely, but those are the two things that I feel are very rewarding, but also can get a bit overwhelming at times.
Speaking of balance, you are someone who just creates so much content that we're able to really connect with you and follow your journey as we prepare for this monumental moment in our lives.
Yes.
I would love to know, how do you know when it's time to unplug and really step back for your own well-being as well?
Yes. Well, speaking of balance, again, it's very much a concept that's open to interpretation. But in my perception, balance is something that is a very difficult thing to manage. So I look at it more as a level of prioritizing, because I haven't quite figured out the balance aspect of things, but to prioritize is what has been a key aspect in my life. So I balance. Pardon me, I prioritize my well being. I prioritize serving and showcasing my journey to the people who have committed their time to support me as not only South Africans, but all the international enthusiasts as well. I like to showcase my progression. I like to showcase the difficult moments in the journey, but also the moments that should be celebrated. And, that's one way that I'm able to manage all of this is to prioritize what I need to do in that very moment on that specific day. When I feel that I need to prioritize my mental health and my well-being, I ensure that I do that and set time aside to do that. When I need to prioritize my studies, I'm sure to do that. But when I need to prioritize my social impact, I do it, or my social media presence, I also prioritize doing that. So that's been one way that I've been able to manage all of, the juggling balls. And I must say the system has been working efficiently.
Looking back at 2023 Zoe, is there any advice you would give yourself?
I love this because it wasn't even that long ago, but I look at that version of myself, and one thing I want to commend her on is her mental strength. I think during that time frame, I was competing against such a high caliber of woman. I don't even think I wrapped my head around it fully. I mean, I was with lawyers and doctors and philanthropists, and I didn't even graduate high school yet. So when I look at that version of myself and I placed myself in a situation that wasn't really normal. Um, I commend myself for how I persevere during moments of obstacles, doubt, and uncertainty from others, because the conversations I sat in, with my fellow candidates at the time really inspired me. I oftentimes sat there with my jaw on the table just because of how much they have achieved and how wonderful they have been doing within their careers. And as a young individual at 17 years old, I took that advice and applied that wisdom to my own life. And with that being said, it really shaped me into a woman that was able to come back a second time around and represent, you know, a little bit of their essence, each and every one of them. They taught me something so incredibly valuable and important. And I hope that they, could see that shine through as I competed the second time around. So that's one thing I would commend herself on is her wisdom and her mental strength and courage.
Absolutely. And there's so much that could happen in a year that it's always great to take a moment of just self-reflection and of course really
Yes.
commending yourself for the hard work and the efforts that you've done and being able to give that as much appreciation as well.
Oh, thank you. No, it's absolutely true. You have to give credit where it's due, and to reflect on past versions of yourself is so critical for self-development. So I totally agree with you.
I love that. And of course, we are always looking to evolve and improve and to self-reflect ourselves over here on Beauty Queens Galore. And we would love to know that as a pageant resource, such as ourselves, is there something that you as a title holder would love to see more from us in the pageant community?
This was something that I recently thought about, and one thing I would love to see is the lessons learned from speaking with so many diverse, women and people from all across the globe, because I've always said that there's no better way to learn about the world and their offerings than from a representative themselves. So I would love to see the lessons that you have learned coming from different people from different parts of the world, and how it has broadened your perspective on, the offerings of the world and how we can connect on a greater scale. I would love to see a little bit more about that. It's a bit of a task. I said it very vaguely, but yeah, that's one thing I would love to see.
I'm so blessed to have this position where I am able to speak with international representatives such as yourself because, as you said, there are just so many lessons that I'm able to take from every single conversation. So it truly is a blessing to be here with just amazing women like yourself and be able to take more lessons that I would have never thought of otherwise. So I love the point that you brought up there, and I'm sure that
Thank
we're always going to
you.
find ways to make that possible because there's so much to highlight with just some wonderful, inspirational young women like yourself.
Oh, thank you. And absolutely, I mean, I even look at myself and the celebratory festival of Miss World to see that we have that opportunity to connect women internationally and ultimately bring the world together at one place is something so incredibly amazing that you don't see often. So it's wonderful to see platforms like yours and Miss World celebrate the beauty of international connection.
And of course, beyond that, what else are you looking forward to whenever we travel to India in May for the Miss World competition?
Yes. So I'm a big traveler. It's always been a dream of mine to travel the world. So I'm excited to immerse myself in the state of Telangana's culture and their traditions. I think it is something that we can highlight and celebrate. So that is one of the things I'm most excited about. I've never traveled to the country of India. So to now have that opportunity and to celebrate that with my fellow batch sisters is a privilege. And I'm grateful to have those experiences. So I can't wait for that. But also to experience all the fast track challenges. That is one thing this world has become quite synonymous with, is all the fast track events they have to offer, because it really brings out the strengths and, core elements of each candidate. So it offers an opportunity to highlight that within each unique representative. So I look forward to experience that myself.
I am thrilled for you to have these experiences, and of course, we'll be cheering every one of you girls on during the month of May as well, because Miss World has always had a special place in my heart as well. It's been one of the first pageants I just really grew to adore because it was just so really to the core about philanthropy and caring for others and being just a well-rounded representative such as yourself here.
Oh, thank you. That's very kind. And it really touches my heart to hear people like you, speak upon what has inspired you about the system, because it is so much more than what just meets the eye. The core of it is something that is very motivational and inspirational, and a lot of people can learn from it.
Absolutely. And of course, before we start wrapping up for today, we always love playing a little game of this or that, just kind of like a little lightning round to just get a little to know
Yes,
about a little bit more of the little random niche fun facts about you. Are you
of
ready?
course.
All
Sure,
right.
let's go ahead.
All right. Fabulous. Starting off, are we a early bird or a night owl?
I'm an early bird for sure.
Better than me. I am a night owl through and through. Are we team overdressed or underdressed?
Overdressed for sure.
Of course, gotta be fabulous everywhere you go.
Yes.
Solo travel or group trip?
Depends, but I must say group trip is always fun.
Fabulous. You're about to go on the most phenomenal group trip of your life now here in a bit, huh?
Right?
City or countryside?
It's always been city, but recently I've been tapping into my country art.
I love that for you. Evening gown
Thank you.
or swim?
Pardon me?
Are we team evening gown or swimwear?
Evening gown, so sultry and elegant. I love it.
I agree with you. Vintage or modern fashion?
Vintage fashion.
Red or nude lipstick?
I'm a lover of a good nude lipstick. Goes with everything.
Me too. You can never go wrong with that. Are we team personal stylist or style yourself?
Style yourself.
Absolutely. You always get just a little bit extra flair that it really shows your and shines out your personality
It
there.
really does. It really does.
And finally, outdoor adventure or indoor experience?
Ooh. It really depends. I really don't want to be that person, but it has to depend on the activity. I am so spontaneous and adventurous, so I love anything outdoors, but indoors as well, you can do so much. You can paint, you can do pottery, so I guess you can do that outdoors as well. So let me go with outdoor activity.
Fair enough. And of course, before we end things for today, can you please tell us what are the best ways to really stay connected with you, your journey? Where can we see you on social media so we can continue cheering you on and enjoying your journey?
Of course. Thank you so much. You can follow me on Instagram. That is where I am most active. I am trying to be more active on TikTok. I promise you, it has become a priority. But during this time of the Miss World Festival and keeping updated with my journey, you can follow me on Instagram as well as the Miss World app. It is something that has been introduced and it is now live and running. I have a profile which you can go and follow. So you can go set up your app. I have a video on how you can do it. You can scroll down in my Instagram feed to find that with all the steps and instructions. So that's how you can keep up with me. And I just want to personally thank you while I do have the moment for everything you have done, the wonderful platform you have created, and that you open up to people all across the world to speak more upon their passions and their visions for the world is something that I really commend you on and really am grateful for, because you have brought in such a light of positivity to this sphere and industry. And it's wonderful to see, people like you bringing that positive energy to this industry. It's really a breath of fresh air. So I thank you for your time as well and the efforts you put in.
Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure being able to speak with you today, and it is such an honor, of course, being part of this wonderful team of women who make up Beauty Queen Galore. So we have the opportunity to sit down and speak today and be able to highlight women across the world. So I cannot wait to just see what's going to be coming up these next couple months as we head over to India for the final Miss World competition. I look forward to it every year. And of course, best of luck as well. And to everybody else for joining us today, thank you so much for taking the time to hear just a little bit more about Zoe here and what all she has to offer, because women that are really joining this path are just have so much to share and so much talent, such as yourself.
Oh, thank you so, so much. A big thank you to you once again, and thank you to everyone who tuned in. Your beautiful and kind comments, it means the world to me, and I can't wait to share and show more about the 72nd edition. I'm grateful to be part of it.
And of course, everyone make sure to follow Zoe. Make sure to stay connected with the Beauty Queens Galore page as well, and we'll be back next time with another interview. Thank you all.
Bye.
Bye now.